We're headed to the financial hub of Central, where Des gets a basic education on possibly the future of finance with those in the know.
Recently, I watched an awesome movie called Ready Player One about a society where people did most of their living in a virtual and fantastical world. And it got me thinking, is this just sci-fi fiction or is this stuff real? You know, not a day goes by these days where you don't hear about the metaverse, cryptocurrencies, or NFT, and these are things that I've always wanted to learn more about. So I'm really excited that I get to speak with 3 experts today. Are these things just fads, or are they here to stay?
Frankly, this is always a question like, what is a cryptocurrency? And to be honest, it's a digital currency. When you're paying with your credit card, when you're doing a bank transfer, at the end, that's digital, right? The crypto part is really relating to blockchain technology here. This ledger is secure and can't be altered very easily, it can't be changed very easily. Then people feel more secure about what data's in there, and it's completely transparent. Like, we'll give you Bitcoin, for example. Like, you can look into the Bitcoin ledger and see all of the transactions that ever happened. They're there. When people are like, oh, it's totally anonymous, it's actually, the word is pseudonymous. This thing happens on the blockchain. We're all looking at the same thing. It's all being updated at the same time. So there's no like, oh, well, we have something different. There's no problem. So you don't need that trusted third party. It's all happening in the ledger, and you're sending that to me. But then, like, you know, where's the cryptography come in? You know, using Bitcoin as an example, the money is just the value of just the transaction saying that you sent me 1 Bitcoin. But what you actually have, instead of having a Bitcoin, is you have the private key to control an address on that ledger, a place in the ledger, and all the transactions that happen on that. If you could picture like a room full of safety deposit boxes, you don't actually own a bunch of safety deposit boxes, you have the key. You have the private key, it's your own key, you're the only one who can access your safety deposit box. And if you go in there, you have, you know, oh, hey, mine has 2 bars of gold, and I can take one out and give it to you. And that's why it's called a bearer asset.
And that key is a password.
That key is a password. That's exactly right.
The terms cryptocurrency and token, how do those differ?
Right, so cryptocurrency is a currency that's native to a particular blockchain. So BTC is a currency for the Bitcoin blockchain.
Yep.
A token is something that's built on one of those blockchains. You might have heard of Ethereum as well.
Yep.
Ethereum has all these apps sort of built on it, and a lot of them have, you know, they basically have tokens that represent some right within that app to do something, or like a profit share or some other payment. The cryptocurrencies are really about the native blockchains, and the tokens are all the things that sort of built on top of it.
And what are the considerations one should have if they want to get into owning or trading cryptocurrencies?
Right. So you have to think about, obviously, the different coins that you can be invested in. Luckily, I guess, it started out in a way that, you know, the top 1 or 2 or 3 coins have, you know, remained, you know, the most prominent coins, particularly the top 2, Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Okay.
And so that's, you know, where a lot of people start.
Yep.
One of the reasons you could say that Bitcoin price has probably gone up, you know, since its invention, which was late 2008, is, well, because it's still around. Because that blockchain has proven itself over time. It's that much more secure, having all these people involved in it, and the larger the network, the larger the blockchain, the more secure it's become. So I think this is, you know, one of the biggest technological, not the biggest technological revolution of the next 30 years or 50 years, or, you know. It's fine to go, you know, go buy some Bitcoin from somebody or go buy some ETH and, you know, just keep it in a wallet. But really you want to start thinking about, how do I invest in more, you know, long-term way, thinking about it as an investment and part of, you know, your overall investment portfolio and how to be involved in it.
NFT stands for non-fungible token. So think about it as traditionally, you buy something, you get a receipt. In the digital world, when you buy something, you get a digital receipt and saying that you own this piece of digital art. So it could be a video, it could be a digital image. Instead of getting a real certificate, you get a digital certificate, and it's recorded on the blockchain with data.
So your ownership is registered in this central registry where everybody can see it?
Yeah, you can check who owns it, when was it sold, what was the price. is compared to traditional art world is very
Transparent.
Transparent, yes, exactly.
Oh,
Very
you can
transparent.
see the price that the person originally paid for it.
Yes, and when was it minted? Like, where was it minted? Who is this person? Who is the buyer?
The term mint means getting on the blockchain. Is that what it means?
So getting registered, right? So like recording something and put it on the internet on the blockchain is called minting.
Is that difficult to do? I mean, can anybody do this, or do you have to have special knowledge?
Anyone can do it, actually. It's not that difficult, but first thing that you need is some cryptocurrency to do it. So usually it's Ethereum, the most widely used currency, because most of the platform use Ethereum as a kind of gas fee and the transaction cost.
So in this sense, to mint on the blockchain, you have to, at the very minimum, have some contact with crypto.
Exactly.
I want to change a little direction here and ask you about the metaverse.
So gaming is a very easy example to understand what's the metaverse. When anyone interacts in a game, you sort of like interact with other players and you can use other devices. That's what the metaverse is. A lot of the artists now we're seeing is bringing into the artwork to display in a gallery in the metaverse. You can plug in your artwork, your NFT, and the viewers can view the artwork at home, on the computer, on the phone, or with a goggle. You can purchase the artwork right away. You can interact with the artist even.
It's very cool.
I always advise my my clients and my friends and artists who like to go into NFT spaces, first of all, not to be afraid of the technology. And honestly, the NFT technology is not difficult at all. If you have a phone, you'll be able to do it. But to understand NFT investing is no different in investing in fine art. The physical elements sort of become the consideration for a lot of people. Okay, oh, I can't hold it, or I can't touch it, I can't see it. But in fact, there are so many ways to show your digital art. You can display it in your screen at home. You can put it in your virtual gallery, like we talked about in the metaverse. You can use it in your social media profile. A lot of people start using the avatar on the NFT on the Twitter, on Instagram. I would say NFT community is very welcoming. It's very inclusive, and I think everybody should at least learn about it and understand why this new trend happens, because the art and culture scene is getting, the creatives is getting all together and creating something to make this ecosystem a little bit better, and for everyone to enjoy art mostly.
Gary, tell me about this space we're in.
So this is what you're starting to see now with NFT and digital art, is we have a digital art sort of museum or gallery, and you can find a lot of different types of digital art displayed on screens. Here we have some work by Nick Teeple. This is a computer animation. It's done by renders. The same with Rafik Anadol, who uses machine learning with his digital animations. And you can see they're very interesting pieces, very engaging, and they're really nice to see on a screen in person.
Right. Now, we come to your work here, Darren.
Yep.
Let's start off. Tell the audience about your background.
Sure, so I'm from an architecture background originally, so this is why I've got this interest in buildings and the urban cityscape. But I started to work in photography about 5-6 years ago here in Hong Kong, and I've collected a lot of pictures over my time in Hong Kong. And when I first heard about the NFT space, I was trying to figure out how I could fit into that with my work. And so what I've done with my work is I've taken a lot of my photographs and I've created these digital collage pieces, which are called collective memories, based on my memories of my photograph.
Darren, do you think there are a lot of artists out there who are doing some soul searching to think, as a traditional artist, how am I going to fit into this digital art world?
Yeah, I don't think there's a huge pressure to try and change your work too much. I think a lot of artists do an amazing job just with what they do. Even static photography, pencil drawings, paintings have all sold as NFTs. So I'm highly encouraging people to just give it a go. I think it can be quite hard to break into the gallery space in the physical art world. You have to work for a long time to meet people, to work your way up through the space of your reputation. But I think in the digital art space, you kind of have this ability to be rewarded for your talent, and you have the marketplace to support you in finding your buyer. And it gives an opportunity to any artist to find the correct buyer, someone who's interested in your work, without having to know anybody or without having to have an existing reputation, which I think is really cool. So I think there's a lot of doubt in the NFT and digital space because of its, the way that you experience it is usually on a screen or a device. And people start to question the value of that. And I think that's an ongoing conversation. But I don't think those two worlds should be in competition. I think we're starting to see a lot of merge between the two. And so we're getting physical events with tangible experiences that are based around digital art. So you can go to an event, see digital art, and come away having talked to an artist, seen it on a real screen, been to a real event, and come away feeling like you've experienced art in just the same way.
Can the world from Ready Player One really exist? I think so, but probably not for many years. Another question I asked is, are NFTs, the metaverse, and cryptocurrencies the wave of the future? Future, I think it's already here in some way, shape, or form. Right now, you might not have contact with these things on a daily basis, but you will. If I had to sum up my conversations with my guests with one word, I would use the word open-mindedness. Don't think of these things as being binary. We can have cash and cryptocurrencies coexisting. NFTs won't replace traditional art completely. What does that mean from an investing standpoint? I'd say it's a great way to learn and to expand your mind and also to diversify your portfolio. Now, of course, with any kind of investing, past performance doesn't predict future results, so do your homework. The other takeaway from my guests is get started on this stuff. You might find it intimidating, but it's coming, whether you like it or not. And it's coming a lot faster than you think.